morning, everybody. This is Pastor Bonnie. We're going to be working on this pretty angel together. I bought these paints at Walmart and they came as an entire set, which I liked because I don't have to choose the colors. And then these are the palette knives we're going to be using, and we have a stretched 11 by 14 canvas and palette knives. And they're really inexpensive. It was like $7 for the set of paints. We're going to start with the sky blue and that color and white for the back. We're just going to mix it together with a with a 1-inch paintbrush. And then what I like to do is just paint the whole entire surface of the canvas. And then I took a blow dryer and dried it so I wouldn't drag my hands in the paint. And then I just went back with a pencil and I sketched in the angel. She's going to be holding a pretty little bird in her hand. She's got flowing curly hair, and she's going to have the really big pretty wings on it. And I just really wanted pretty soft pastels. So then I'm going to work on her wings, and I'm using the white paint and the light modeling paste. And you just mix it together, and then you take your palette knife and you pick it up on the back of the palette knife and press it down. And originally I started with the top of the wings, but I decided it would be better to go back from the bottom because you can layer them on top of each other. And the modeling paste is a super cool medium because when it dries, it's literally hard, like the kind of spackling that you use when you're working in a house. That type of a feel to it. It's really pretty. And I mixed a little bit of tan and brown and pink for the flesh tones. And I just filled them in with a small paintbrush for her face and her arms. And then I wanted her hair to be sort of like a dark brown color with black highlights. And so after I got her skin tone's done. Actually, I forgot. I'm working on the bird first. So the bird has a metallic blue and a pastel orange color. And then I did the same thing. I mixed them with the Liquitex modeling paste. And then I painted the little tiny bird. I had sketched it out first. And it's kind of cool because it's a metallic paint. When you move it around in the sunlight, it sparkles. I just thought that was really cool to have a cute little sparkly bird. It kind of reminds me of a bluebird. And then I put a little orange and a tiny little dot for the eye. And then now we're working on the hair, and we're going to use the brown and the black. So I used a small pointed brush, and then I went in and put in her hair first. And then just to make it so you could see the waves and the curls in it, I went back and added the black in her hair. I actually mixed the brown and the black paint together. And you can see it just makes her hair look like it's flowing in the breeze. And then I used a tiny, really tiny, slender little brush to put some lines in. And her dress started out as a hot pink color. So I just filled in the dress. And then I went back over it with white paint just to kind of soften it down a little bit. And you'll notice as we get further in the video, I painted little white flowers around the hem of her dress just to give it almost like lace looking on the bottom, and you'll see that a little bit later in the video. But see how pretty it is with the white over on top of the pink, hot pink dress. And then I didn't like the wings as deep, the texture as deep, so I went back and took some white paint and filled it in, and you can see it still has the texture and the dimension, but it softened it. And then now we're going to work on the grass on the bottom, and you can use dark green, light green. I put a little bit of blue in it. And if you take a pointed brush and you start from the bottom and push it up to the top, it'll make a point for the grass. And then I put a little tiny bit of yellow, and because this is all going to be background colors. And then I decided to sketch in a tree. So I just drew that in with a pencil. And then I'm going to use black and brown, so it's super, super easy to do the tree. You just paint the whole entire tree black first, And then you go back, and whichever side you want the light to be on, you just highlight that, and that's what I did. So on the right hand side, I put the brown on top of the black so that it looks like the sun is striking the tree on the right. You can see here. And then I decided to make some leaves with it. And what you do is you take a fan brush and you start with a darker green first. You just pick up the paint on your brush, and then you go ahead and tap it onto the tree. And then after you tap the dark green color, then I'm going to go back and tap light green on top of it, and it makes like shadows. So like if you looked at a real tree, you would see that the dark is in the background and the light is in the foreground. So it makes it look a little more realistic. And then this is just kind of a view of where we are now with the tree and the grass. And then I'm going to start working on adding the elements to the garden, because the title of this is The Angel in the Garden, in the Meadow. And I love to make these curly cues. You use a fine tip brush, and you can use dark green, light green. You can put flowers on them after you get them done. So I love to put those vines in, and I turned it sideways so you could see a little bit the full length of it. And you just go back and add the leaves. It's just a little triangle shape so you can see the vines. And like I said, this is the part where you just keep adding one more stem and one more flower and one more vine. And when you get it done, you have this really pretty painting. Then I mix the hot pink paint with the Liquitex light modeling paste. And you do the same thing where you just pick it up on the back of the palette knife and press it down. And then I went ahead and used the light tipped brush to make leaves so that it makes it a little more realistic. But isn't that pretty, you guys? It's a three-dimensional look. And then I decided I wanted to add some white, do the same thing with the white Liquitex. If you don't add any color to it, you will end up getting the white flowers. And so what you do is actually didn't mix any white paint at all because it'll stay white. And you pick it up on the back of the palette knife and press it down on the canvas. But see how it gives it that three-dimensional look? It's just so pretty when you get it done. And then I just went back and added the leaves and the stems on the flowers. Here I'm just adding more vines with a lighter colored paint. So you can see every little bit that you add is just so pretty. And I love to use orange. It goes with just about every color. It goes with pink and blue and green. It looks really pretty with any color that you pick. So I mixed that with Liquitex, the light modeling paste, and you just press it down and it's like a little star. And then what I do later is I'm going to go back and add little yellow dots for the centers. And then you take 4 dots to make the flowers. And then I took the fan brush and just dabbed it in the white paint and just press it down. And you can see it makes like a pretty little bush. And then later you're going to see where I went over on top of it, some with blue and some with purple and some with pink. So it's just, like I said, this painting has got a lot of detail, but it's super easy. It's basically 4 steps to do. And you can see the tiny little flowers that I put in at the bottom of her dress. I love that element. It's just really pretty looking in the garden. And then I'm going back now and just adding stems and adding more leaves. And I decided to make some sort of rose-colored maroon. I mixed that again with the light modeling paste and did the same thing where I picked it up on the palette knife and press it down on top of the painting. And then we're just going to continue adding various shades of green and tapping in some more flowers. Like I said, it's the same technique over and over. And then I love this heavy texture acrylic paint. It's gold. So I dipped the paintbrush in it and mixed it with water. Then I just spattered it on the painting. And when it dries, it's actually going to shimmer like real gold. And then I did the same thing with the blues and the greens and the purples and just spattered it all over the back of the canvas. So it's just a really pretty technique, and you can see the dimensions in the little garden. So I hope you have enjoyed this. It's been so fun spending the time. You can stop it and you can redo it, and it's just really relaxing, and your painting's going to look beautiful too. I hope you have a blessed rest of your day. It's been enjoyable, and you take care, and all the best. And oh, I forgot about this part. This shows you what it looks like outside in the light. You can see the golden shimmers. This one's actually for sale. I'll put the website, but blessings.